Nailed by Rich Marotta and Penguin Magic is a brand new device that allows you to give your spectators a horrifying but exciting experience. They think they see a nail going right through your forehead, but it's a completely safe effect. Now, is this right for you? Today, we're going to find out. This is a trick I guarantee you won't be able to do. You'll take a quarter, and look, it's floating on my forehead. I'll give anyone who attempts that trick $20. You sir, you want to try it? Okay, I'll give you this quarter, but you want to be careful because there's a huge nail on the back, so make sure that doesn't hurt you too bad. And you can just give this to your spectators. They will not try it. Now, they can fully examine it, make sure it's ordinary. And that is Nailed. Now, what do you get with this? When you purchase Nailed by Rich Marotta, you receive this small box. Inside the box, you'll receive this. This is all you get. Your gimmicked coin. That's it. And I know spectators, or you at home, if you purchase this and you find this in your box, you'll probably be disappointed because you'll think that's it. It's just a coin with a nail on the back of it. But don't be disappointed, because hiding in plain sight is a diabolical gimmick, and it's precision made. It's similar to some other gimmicks that I've owned in the past, but it's so well made. The gimmick is very good quality, and if you're familiar with locking coin gimmicks, you could compare the durability of those to this. This should last you a long time. The nail really is soldered onto the back of the coin. It's not a retractable nail or anything like that. You also don't need a tool to reset this. Because of the nature of the gimmick, you can reset this in your bare hands. Now, one thing to note is that you may need to move hair if you have hair that goes down. You may need to move your hair to the side if you have certain hairstyles. You may have to comb it over if you have long hair, or you may just have to put it lower down on your forehead. Now, how is the tutorial? The tutorial's good. It's about 12 minutes long. It's Magic Ballet. He is mic'd up. You can hear him. He goes through a few things. He teaches the reset, the routining, and some more subtleties that you can do with this. The tutorial is very nice and it's concise. Now, is this a social media or a real life effect? This is a social media or a real life effect. You could do it for both. It's a very quick effect though. That's something to keep in mind. It's a magic trick, but in a way, depending on your presentation, it can seem more like a challenge or a puzzle to certain spectators. So depending on your performing style, that might not be for you. You'll either want to adjust the presentation to telling them that there's a nail before you stick it into your head, or if you like this presentation, you can keep it. Now, this is a very cool effect, but just keep in mind that it is over pretty quickly. Now, what are the angles like? This can be performed up to, I'd say, 160 degrees. I wouldn't want people behind me or on my sides, direct sides. Are there any live performances? Yes, there are live performances, and this does get a pretty interesting reaction. Is this examinable? This is examinable at the end. It's not examinable at the beginning, but at the end it is examinable. And something cool is that it's the same coin. You're not switching the coin at all. There is a bit of a move that you have to do, but there's no switch of the coin. And I don't recommend that you do this, but if you wanted to, and again, I don't recommend it at all. If you wanted to, you could sign the head of the quarter and then perform this effect just to prove there's no switch. But I, again, don't recommend that because there's a lot that can go wrong. You could ruin your gimmick. And also, I just wouldn't recommend it because it's not that practical. But yeah. Even though it is examinable, I wouldn't hand this to them for 10 minutes. I would give it to them for maybe a minute max, but more like 30 seconds. I wouldn't want to waste too much time during a performance handing it out to them though. But if you want this to be super examinable, and if you own many coin gimmicks, you might know what I mean. If you own Scotch and soda, for example, if you make it really tight, it's a bit harder to reset, but it's even more examinable. It's a similar thing with this. If you make it tighter, it's a bit harder to reset. And again, you are using your bare hands. There's no tool. If you're making it super tight, it's a bit harder to reset. But if you just do it loose, it's a little bit easier to find the gimmick. I still don't think any layperson would find the gimmick, even if it's in its loose state. But yeah, that's it for examinability. I could hand this out. People will never find it as long as they don't know what to look for. Now, what's the difficulty and practicality of the effect? This isn't difficult to do. If you put in 10 to 20 minutes on the one move, you'll get it down. And you'll have a quick, nice piece for walk-around magic or other performing situations. Is there any DIY? No, there's no DIY required. Pocket space. Now, there is one limitation that you have to keep in mind. You will have to keep the coin with the nail in it, in your pocket. In the box, you receive this. You'll receive a foam piece. And you can you'll receive this. This is a foam piece. You can keep the coin with the nail inside that foam piece. If I were to carry this around at gigs, that's how I would do it probably. Or if I were to carry this as an everyday carry, that's how I would do it as well. Now, what is the reset like? As I mentioned, you reset it in your hands. You won't want your spectators to see you reset it, but it doesn't take up much time. You can reset it going from table to table. It takes up less than 5 seconds. It's very fast. Now, what is the price? This costs $40 US. Is it worth the price? I think so. I think it's worth the price. It has a similar property to a common coin gimmick, but this locks in place and it has the nail feature. I think it's worth the price. I think it's worth the price. Now, what are the pros and cons? The pros are this is easy to do. It's a fun gag. It can be presented as a gag as well. It feels impossible. It locks. There's no switch required. The coin they see on the forehead is the same coin that you use at the end with a slight difference. I'm not going to get too into that, but if you have this, you know what I mean. Also, it's pretty durable. I can't see this breaking in the near future. It's a fun, original effect. The angles aren't terrible. You can reset this without a tool, and it doesn't feel like a typical coin trick. It feels like something outside of the ordinary. Now, what are the cons? The cons are this ends pretty quickly. It's less of a magic trick and it's more of a puzzle, depending on how you present it. And finally, it is a little bit hard to carry around. Of course, you can use the foam thing. That makes it pretty easy. But if you were to carry this around, you could stab your leg or your pants pocket or something like that. But what percent am I giving this? I'm giving this an 80%. I really like the effect. It's really cool. It won't be for everyone, but if you like the premise, absolutely pick it up. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.